Welcome. Hold on. I think that's the British song. I think that's Here Comes the King. Here comes the bride. Here comes the queen. Anyways, how are you doing? Look at me. Look at me. Really, how are you doing? I know you say okay. I know you say okay, but it's just you and I. Feeling a little overworked, underappreciated, underpaid. I get it. I get it. This is America after all. I understand. I understand that pain. I'm familiar. What's up, J66? You don't ask me how I'm doing. I ask you how you're doing. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope life is bringing blessings. May we all enjoy this short time here. May we all enjoy it. You know, this fucking dog, I'm so sorry. It's like, I need a break, dog. I get home and the cats and the dogs, they all fucking swarm me and she just wants to cry. This motherfucking bitch. You can come in here, but I promise you, if you don't go to your spot, I just don't have time for you, okay? I spend all day earlier with you when I get home from work, and I give you all the attentions, just like the cat. There are no cats here. They're not down here. I'm not hanging out with, that's what it is. God damn. She's like, are you hanging out with the cats behind the door? Because I need to be there. Anyways. Broke currently, but that's what I get for helping people. I wouldn't say no good deed goes unpunished. Well, I would actually, because we are in America, and anybody who tries to help anybody, people are like, "Oh, what are you doing, you entitled lazy person?" That's my favorite thing about the right-wing grift. Is that at the same time, so here's one of my favorite things about the right-wing grift, like the Ben Shapinis and the Timothy in-ground pool, Timothy above ground pool. His middle name is above ground. It's a double middle name. Timothy above ground pool, the Stephen Walshes and the Matt Crowders. You know, the nickel for 100 of them, they're all the same fucking guy with a different beard and they're all balding. My favorite thing about the right-wing grift is like, while, you know, they talk out both sides of their mouth. They want to establish family values where chivalry isn't dead, you know, and they're like, we need to have a decent society. And then you're like, so let's have healthcare for all. And they're like, you goddamn communist. And you're like, what is a decent society if healthcare isn't included? You know, like, who gives a shit if you want to? And by the way, I can't even go into like marriage or any of that shit. But I'm just saying, like, you know, decency is like, you know, manners. You know, manners. Because they always pearl clutch if you're like, fuck Charlie Kirk, and his wife is a fake actor, she's a grifter too. You know, they're like, what happened to decency? You know, but they want to talk out both sides of their mouth. They want to pretend like they want some decent civilization, but then if you dare to suggest healthcare be paid for by corporate and billionaire taxes, they're like, how dare you, sir? Start foaming at the mouth. You know, it's like, well, what are you talking? What's a decent society to you? Where you're just rich and nobody questions you? The stupid shit that comes out of your mouth? My God. Hey, what's up, Crush Dice? Salute to the heroes in my familia. 10,000 strong. We did it, folks. I don't know what happens after this. I guess we go to 1 million, okay? That's the next stepping stone. God, these people are so fucking dumb. I gotta put some people in timeout already. If you're gonna, you know, talk about the left-wing grift, it's not. There's no grift on the left. Who's going to fund people saying tax the wealthiest people and corporations in the world? Who's funding that? Who's spending big dollars? This is where it's like, you're so fucking dumb. There's no money on the left. What is it? Big housing for all? I want you to just take a moment to think. Ben Chapino, when he says people should never even retire, like the clip I played for you yesterday, where he's like, you shouldn't even retire ever, you know, while this rich kid who never had to work a day in his life because his parents were so wealthy, also sits in a podcast room and tells other people that have to fucking wake up at 5 and go out in freezing cold weather. Like he says, oh, you should never retire. You know, the comfort from his home, like, which is the audacity. But he's funded by oil fracking billionaires, you know, APAC, all these motherfuckers. Who is funding and don't say George Soros, because we already went through. Scott Bessent was partners with George Soros. You think these billionaires want to pay people to say, hey, we should tax the billionaires? Who is paying for that? You fucking dummies on the right. You're so thick. I just wish you would do a little bit of critical thinking. Just a fucking smidge. Who do you think is funding when they're like, oh, it's Antifa and they're funded? Who's funding people to be like, we want to tax billionaires, tax all these corporations that you so worship and bootlick? I just want you to think for a second. Who is it, you dummies? Look, they can't even answer. They just, thank you, Crush. Thank you, Crush. You beat me to it, Crush. They don't even, and this is my point, like, they don't even have an answer. They don't even have an answer. I love it when they're like, oh, here's another left-wing grifter. It's just like some moron, that Waffle character, was like commenting on stuff. And he was like, oh, of course you watch Hassan, that champagne socialist. And I'm like, God damn, man. It doesn't matter. Because if I was, when I'm a millionaire, they're going to go, oh, look, hates capitalism, really? He's really rich. And if you're not a millionaire, they're like, oh, look, entitled and lazy. It's like, just shut your fucking face while some of us try to make this country better, okay? You guys had your shot. You voted for a PDF file, a felon, a guy who is more moronic than fucking gross, I think. I don't know. Stupid or gross? Which one is it? It's a little 6'7", you know? And you destroyed our country. Like, even MAGA is like, goddamn, we gotta pretend to, like, still worship this dude while, you know, while I lose my soy farm. By the way, the Republicans in charge, breaking news, they downvoted all the healthcare plans. There were 2 healthcare plans going to pass. I just want to play this for you because it's in the news, and I just think everyone should know that... that instead of like being like, guys, we should do anything to ensure that the people of our country stay healthy and don't have to pay a lot for healthcare, and we should ensure the funding happens. You know how like they passed that big heinous bill to cut taxes and keep corporate taxes at a permanent cut at 21% less than you and I pay? You know how they were like, yeah, we're passing it, you know? They just downvoted 2 separate bills.
So the bipartisan Karen Kafer reports from Washington and breaks down what the 2 plans that failed to move forward.
The Senate Thursday voting on dueling health care plans.
The motion is not agreed to.
And advancing neither.
The motion is not agreed to.
Hanging in the balance as Capitol Hill debates are enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies set to expire at the end of the year. Experts say without an extension, skyrocketing premiums will financially cripple millions of Americans.
We need to do triage, and the first thing is to face the emergency that millions of Americans face when these tax credits disappear.
And the Democratic proposal put forth on Thursday sought to extend the subsidies by 3 years.
This kind of extension of healthcare subsidies.
Why don't you just permanently extend? Like, I don't understand why they do this 3-year bullshit. It's probably so in the small print, you know, it's like something that Trump wanted, where he's like, my kids get to be called King Donald and King Eric for the entirety of their life. You know, it's something stupid because he's just a mafia boss at this point. Yes, thank you, Crush. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit share, hit like, hit some buttons. Is this it? Look, President Trump has made it clear to Indiana leaders, if the Indiana Senate fails to pass the map, all federal funding will be stripped from the state. Roads will not be paved. Guard-based workload, major projects will stop. These are stakes, and every no vote will be to blame. Heritage action. Fuck you. Ron Filipowski. The U.S. government is now a mafia organization. That's all it is. I would say Russian mafia, knowing Trump and his ties, and how he invited his best friend Putin over to Alaska so they could get at the beast, the old presidential motorcade, sitting that alone for a little bit. You know, I can only imagine Donald was like, listen, Vlad, I know you have those photos of me blowing Bubba. If you could just please not release those. That's exactly what he said. He was like, Vlad, please don't release those photos. Please, I'll do anything. And he's like, you break up the EU. You break that up for me. And Donald's like, I'll do my best, sir. I can't believe MAGA voted for this dude. Holy shit. Maybe they'll pass something on Christmas Eve. My Christ. I pray they don't wait till then. Impeach Trump. Yes. What else do I have in some meme news? Oh. You see this? This hero bringing her baby to work? You dumb bitch. Not the baby. Her, Kristi Noem. You dumb bitch. Leave your baby at home. You know shit's controversial right now. You know what you're doing. Don't bring your kid into the mix of that. Bad parenting. Right there. Lesson 1. Bad parenting. This is not bring your baby to work day. Okay? You don't use your baby as a shield. My Christ. That is... and if you know how much money she's robbed the American taxpayers, we've talked about it here. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We've discussed how she's been funneling hundreds of millions of dollars, I think. She's been funneling tons of money to companies she's associated with that will, give her a cut or she'll profit. So she can afford childcare. Hate to break it to you. Out of everybody in the country, I'm pretty sure everyone in the Trump regime can afford childcare right now. What the fuck is she doing bringing a kid there? Unprofessional. Not bringing their best, I'll tell you that. But adorable baby. Oh, poor little thing. You gotta have a shitty parent. Poor little thing. What else do we have here? Oh, I wanted to bring this up because we were talking about this the other day. Remote work and, landlords and all that fun stuff. Corporate landlords, that American term. This is, I don't know when this is from, but remote work risks wiping $800 billion from the value of office buildings in major cities worldwide by 2030 as the post-pandemic trend pushes up office vacancy rates and drives down rents. Drives down rents? Awesome! That should be good news, right? But then you get Megan saying, as someone so succinctly put it on Reddit, the idea that wealthy landowners aren't allowed to lose money ever, and somehow regular people need to make this their problem and bend over backwards to secure these profit margins for them, is old-fashioned and tired. Your property valuations aren't my problem. Hope you get ruined, actually. Actually, that's a great... Who said that? Graybox1313? I like that. I'm going to steal that from you, Graybox. Get ruined. Fucking love it. Let's do a little more meme news. Okay, welcome. I'm Rob. I do some commentary every weekday. I hope your life is going well. And if it isn't, may it improve. May it improve. For all the maggots, M-A-G-A-T-S, and all the divisive dividers here in America that are worshiping this fascist dictator while the rest of us suffer and we just want healthcare and to be able to buy a home and enjoy our lives and not have to work till we're fucking 100. Like Ben Shapiro said, you shouldn't have to retire unless you have some kind of illness. It's like, fuck you, Ben. Why don't you not retire and actually go get a real job? Go work at Home Depot, Ben. Get off the fucking podcast waves. To all you maggots, I say, get ruined. I love that phrase. I don't know if this is true, but I've seen this. Just in, world's biggest YouTuber, James Jimmy Donaldson, lots of accusations flying at that dude, to launch financial services platform. Imagine overdrafting at Beast Bank and waking up in Squid Game. I love how he just went from like, I'm going to be the best YouTuber doing the most generic, fucking bland, unoriginal stuff. His big claim to fame is he stole Squid Game from a South Korean writer, I believe it is. I forget. I didn't even see Squid Game. But he stole Squid Game and did it on YouTube. Unoriginal piece of shit. I love how he just went to like, I'm just gonna be I'm gonna be a loan shark. Great character arc, Jimmy. Oh, here's some meme news. You're seeking validation from a world that crucified a perfect man. Think about that. Deep. Thanks to my brother for sending me this. Appreciate you. I love you. I want to remind you of this because of the big merger. So Netflix can afford to buy Warner Brothers but can't afford to let us share passwords. Okay. 82 billion was it that they spent? But they're going to crack down on password sharing. I don't know. The U.S., by the way, we're going to talk about it. The U.S. is getting into pirating. We just hijacked an oil tanker. So, I mean, if the government is sanctioning pirating, what does that say? You know, what kind of example is the government setting by doing pirating? I know it's on the high seas, you know, but what kind of example are they setting for us? If they're going to pirate oil tankers, I'm not saying anything, but if the government's going to do it, you know, I could just say, well, I learned it from you. Here's some more meme news. Trump. China has very few wind farms. You know why? Because they're smart. Okay, so Trump, is China smart or are we at war with them? You know what they have? A lot of coal. We don't improve windmills. Actually, China has more wind power installed than the entire United States. MAGA Research Department strikes again. The problem is Trump lies and they just clap like idiots. It's not even that he lies. Sometimes Don, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, old ADH dementia, sometimes he even says stuff that is like, you're like, bro, don't talk to them like that. They don't even understand.
Smart people don't like me.
He says, smart people don't like me. And they were like, yeah. Not realizing he's calling you morons that are worshiping in the room idiots. Dingling Masterpiece Theater. Oh my God. What a name. What a name. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Change maggot to magay. They love Crash and Grinder. They do. Well, I don't have to. I use maggot because maggot, M-A-G-A-T-S, thank you for the comment and the $2 super chat. Because like if you're from Boston, you're Bostonian, Portlandian, Californian, MAGA, maggot. But if you didn't know, because we all found out in the Epstein files that Donald Trump has photos of him, or no, sorry, Vladimir Putin has photos of Donald Trump blowing Bubba. So I said weeks ago, this is why you got to hit subscribe and the notification bell. I pawned the phrase. You might have heard MAGA before, but you didn't know its real meaning. It was in the closet. MAGA was in the closet. MAGA actually means, can you guess? Make America Gay Again, and I fully support it. Listen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist because most of the conspiracies are pretty true. But if you want to conspiracize for a minute, put on your tinfoil hats at home. MAGA, Make America Gay Again. He wouldn't tell the Proud Boys to stand back or stand by. He has the Proud Boys on call. They're very proud boys. What else? Jeffrey Epstein, the emails. I'm sure there's more stuff. I wasn't prepared for that, but you know what I mean. Like, just start connecting the dots. Proud Boys, MAGA, Make America Gay Again, blowing bubbles or bubbas or whatever, you know. Mike Grinder Johnson. Every time the RNC is in town, Grinder crashes, just put it together. Now, here's the thing. Here on this channel, we support people's freedom to be who they want to be. If you're going to call yourself the land of the free, you should, mean it. Land of the free, but we're going to regulate everything you fucking do. So I say embrace it, MAGA. You're gay as hell. And that's a good thing. Nobody's going to judge you here. You guys might judge yourselves, which I still can't understand. Like Scott Bessent gay, Peter Thiel gay, bunch of other, you know, people floating around, let's just say, lighting the loafers, a little sugar in the tank. And it's so weird that they, you know, have such bigotry in their hearts. Because I think that's really where the hate and the resentment comes from. You know, they're so scared, so insecure to just live their lives that, you know, they need to be frustratedly taking it out on people and being really mean, which, you know, don't. Just be a proud boy. Not that kind, but, you know, like the Proud Boys. Okay, Finland ended homelessness with a housing first strategy that they gave people apartments before they secured employment. Now they're proposing a 4-day work week and 6-hour work days, true work-life balance. Meanwhile, the US, people work 2 jobs, can't afford food or healthcare. Also, because we talk about stuff like this, there was 100 companies in the UK. I talked about this a while ago. Again, hit subscribe and notification bell so you can follow along with all these news commentary stories I do. In the UK, they had done a trial 4-day work week with 100 different companies in the UK. You could look it up, or you could go back and watch my video. It was earlier this year, you know, in the spring. And I think it was like 99% stayed with a 4-day work week. Because if you know anything about history, like when unions and the labor movement gave us the weekend, the robber barons were like, oh shit, we really want to oppress people and, you know, keep control over them and have the power and make them work 14-hour days, 7 days a week. But these people that fought and died for the weekend, the unions, the organizers, the robber barons even had to admit, they were like, holy shit, productivity is up, turnover rate, injuries are down, like our revenue is up. So it's just history. It's just a fact that when people have a work-life balance, it benefits the companies. We've talked about it here many, many times. And I also like to show you, hold on, this book written by Dutch historian Rutger Bregman. This is an easy read. You could kill this in an afternoon. You could read this book so quick. And in this, they talk about how in Utah, they almost eradicated homelessness. How? They gave people homes. Crazy idea, right? And told those people, go, not my tax money. Well, it turns out, and you can read it in this book, it turns out that to deal with the homeless problem, it was costing the taxpayer about $16,000. And when they just gave people homes, and I forget what else, there was like counseling or something and like some stuff to help secure employment or help them out, that only cost taxpayers $11,000. So it actually costs less and solved the homeless problem. So it's all doable, folks. Don't listen to CNN, and especially don't listen to Fox News when they tell you, oh, no, we got to criminalize homeless. You think you're not paying for that? Oh, that's adorable. So you think when we criminalize the homeless, you're not paying for the police and the prisons and all the other stuff that comes along with it, the courts. Oh, that's adorable. You don't think your tax dollars should pay for that? Why don't we just actually be humane and give them houses? You know, there's 25 empty homes for every homeless person here in America. So the maths. Read this book. Rutger Bregman, Utopia for Realists. I talk about it all the time because it's an amazing book where he goes through real historical scenarios where UBI worked, healthcare for all worked, housing first policies worked, how all these things have worked. It's just you're propagandized if you're an American. If you're not, oh, I bet you enjoy that work-life balance. But for us Americans, you're propagandized by the 6 corporations that own 90% of the media that you see, hear, or read. And some of it's by foreigners. Like Rupert Murdoch, if you read the Wall Street Journal or watch Fox News, he's a fucking Australian, and he's not liked in Australia. And you let him, you know, convince you what's best for America. That doesn't sound like America first, but, you know, who am I to judge? So, where were we? So, yeah. Solidarity Finland. We could do this too, just so you know. We could do this in America, like easily. If Americans just came together and said, yeah, that sounds good. 4-day work week, 6 hours days. I say a 3-day work week and 4-hour days. But I'm woke. I'm radical. I think you should have more of your life to enjoy. It's so funny because I'll say that and then people will be like, oh, you know, some stupid reply. And it's like, where in life were you like, my goal? Were you the little kid who was like, when I grow up, I want to work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week? And they were like, all right, you fucking weirdo. He's like, yeah, I hope my family has disdain for me because I'm a jerk inside, you know? Be like the kid who was like, when I grow up, I want to be a turtle. Fucking awesome, dude. I hope that happened. I hope that dream came true for you. You just be a turtle, you know? Who wants to grow up and be like, I'd like to work 10-hour days and 6 days a week, please? Fuck you. All right, some more meme news, and then we'll get to the other news, the real news. By the way, I'm Rob. I do commentary. I just comment on everything. You don't like it? Kick rocks. If you do like it, hit subscribe, wherever that button is. I'm here 5 days a week. I enjoy it. I've been doing this for quite a while, and I'm still not good at it. But we are 10,000 strong, and we're changing perceptions. What I teach people is I say I'm planting a seed, because you can't unhear what I'm saying. You can't. Try it. Unless you have like a little Men in Black, memory eraser. You can't. What I say ricochets around that little head of yours and the seed lands right in the brain wrinkles. And then depending on whether you water it or not, it grows. But no matter what I've told you today, you can't unhear. That's just science, but, whatever. Stephen Miller, if you subtract immigrations out of test scores, all of a sudden our test scores skyrocket. What? Immigrants score the lowest on tests, but they also take all our jobs while at the same time buy all the welfare while buying all the homes. Do you understand the propaganda? Do you understand? Do you understand the propaganda? By the way, this beach Nazi right here? I call him that because he sounds like Pauly fucking Shore. You ever seen Biodome? He's a rich kid from Santa Monica, and he talks like this. Hold on, I saved a couple clips because he's an up talker. What that means is he ends every sentence talking up. Like if you've ever been to the beach in California, dude, or watched a Pauly Shore movie, that's how Stephen Miller talks. So actually, I should have read this. Like, if you subtract immigration out all the test scores, all of the sudden, our test scores rocket. That's how he talks, and I'm not joking. This little angry turd is a beach Nazi. He's a beach bimbo, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Quiet piggy. Here he is.
In the Ninth Circuit.
Did you hear that? Hold on.
In the Ninth Circuit.
In the Ninth Circuit. Bro, I'm telling you, when a movie is made about this, hopefully Adam McKay or whatever, like Don't Look Up, but they do, something about this fascist regime. I don't like Pauly Shore. I've met him a couple times. He's kind of a dick unless you're a younger woman that feigns interest in him. And, he could turn his image around. I don't know. I met him a long time ago. I'm telling you, Pauly Shore could play him so well. Never mind Richard Simmons, Pauly. You focused on being Stephen Miller in the upcoming movie.
But Democrat leaders...
You hear that? He's a beach bimbo. This fucking angry little runt is a beach bimbo. Democrat leaders.
But Democrat leaders in the Ninth Circuit...
In the Ninth Circuit. He talks like a fucking blonde bimbo at the beach. Is that not hilarious? I mean, you probably seen his angry tweets and his fucking, hate mongering. But when you hear him in person, it's fucking hilarious. It's hilarious. He talks like a fucking bimbo hanging around surfers, being like, bro, I love your board. Oh my God. Okay, we went over Old Gnome and the government is mafia. Okay, so now let's get into some news. Oh, wait, first. MAGA wanted Trump to run America like a business. He's running it like his business. He's bankrupting it. And that's what he's doing. Hide the bad news, hyper manufacture the good news, keep all the profits, socialize the losses, ignore the laws because they're all toothless anyways. That's why it's funny when you see like workers be like, I'm a libertarian. No, you're not. No, you're not. You like regulations. You like being safe at work. You like that your company has to pay you the overtime or the right amount or give you a certain time off after you work so long. You're not a libertarian. Your boss might be. He might have tricked you to think, oh yeah, you're in our libertarian club until we strip you of your rights and fucking poison your water. You're not a libertarian. It's amazing. You know, it truly is amazing. Or there are some people who are like, I believe in small, I'm a libertarian, not because of the regulations, because of small government, personal sovereignty. And then you just ask them, so no regulating women's bodies, right? Anybody can marry who they want to? And all of a sudden they start freaking out. No, we gotta regulate that. Oh, okay. What kind of libertarian are you then? Bruh. They're all hypocrites. Oh, isn't it ironic? Don't you think? It's like rain. Alanis. You guys remember Alanis? She was fucking awesome. Anyways, let's get into some stuff. Let's get into it. I got some audio for you today. I'm very happy to play this for you. This is Hope Walsh. We played her the other day, and I love that Hope is speaking out. More people should. Keep speaking out. I've been early to the game because I was saying fuck Trump back in the 80s. I know you people in the Midwest, you're adorable. You're like, I think I seen him on the TV, and he said, you're fired. And I like that. That's sassy, you know? And you guys, it's so funny to me. I said this yesterday, but America's fucking brain has been hijacked so that the average 9-to-5 worker comes home, watches a TV show about a rich Nepo baby who fires people, and they fucking sit on their couch and applaud. They just hope it's not them someday, you know? They're like, oh, I love that guy who fired everybody. You know, the old American layoff season. That's how bad we've been co-opted, tricked, and fucking hijacked to think like you should cheer for the guy, the rich kid. No wealth of his own. Fred Trump gave him everything. He's the only reason he has that money. Because if it was up to Donald, he failed a water company, bankrupted a casino, couldn't fucking fly his planes, couldn't do steaks at Sharper Image or Brooks Brothers, wherever the fuck it was. You know, he failed them all. But it's so funny that America's been so hijacked to cheer for the corporate Nepo baby firing people. You know? Because in my world, he's the bad guy. In my world, the guy firing the people trying to work, I'm like, oh, he's the asshole. He's the villain. What happens at the season finale to him? Do all the workers come back, organize, and fucking boot his ass out? You know? I don't know. But I'm just glad Hope is calling out these shit stains, these little shit weasels.
Oh, Dawn. It is so clear that your dad does not love you.
I've been saying that for a while. His dad does not. Just like his dad before his dad did not love him. You know, it's a family built on hate.
Or if there is any love there, it's not for your compassion. Like,
It isn't. She's keen, this one.
my dad loves me, but instead your cruelty. And that's not love. That's not love.
And that's the funny thing, you know. Sorry, Hope, I just got to pause you. Thank you. If you've listened to Donald's cousin, not this one, the big shit stain, the big shit weasel, the orange shit weasel, sorry. Mary Trump, his cousin, or fucking, I don't know, whatever, relation, she talks about that. Like, Fred Trump didn't care for his kids. He only cared about the most ruthless behaviors they can engage in. So this is very accurate. I don't know if Hope knew that. But the sad thing about that is when people elect a guy like that, you know, a guy that Donald Trump called his base stupid, said he doesn't care about him, called him weak and dumb, about the Epstein files. He said, smart people don't like me. He insults them all the time. And you know what it is? It's an abusive relationship. It's not just a cult, but most cults, I think, are built on abusive relationships. But you get what I'm saying? Do you? Hope. You give us hope, Hope.
I genuinely feel sad
I don't. May you reap what you sow.
that you and your family feel the need to degrade and put down large swaths of the country in an attempt to make yourself feel better.
You know what I do feel bad for, though? The people who think that's macho, fucking strong. What are the other words? You know, like alpha, I don't know, skibbity rizma. You know, all the people who are like, that's based. I feel bad for you, because that says a lot about your life and how you live. That as long as you're in the power dynamic of having control, you're good. And as soon as you're fucking feeling weak and threatened or insecure, which is probably all the time, shit's gonna get wild for everybody. Not just you, but for everybody within you. You know, that's why you see the Karens. Karens freaking out everywhere. They feel fucking insecure. They feel threatened.
My family and I will always be richer than yours. Always. Because we don't find joy in this. We find joy in each other and spending time together and doing quality good things for this world together, not tearing other people down. Those daddy issues are so clear, and I genuinely do feel sad for you. I do. I really hope you get the help you need. In the meantime, I'm going to continue building up that, joy and love and happiness with my family, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. So
It's always funny to me too. Hold on, let her finish.
good luck, Dawn. Good luck.
Yo, those are some of my favorite things. When people are like, I hope you get the help you need. I forget what else I was going to say. Let's get on to the next clip. This is a protester heckling Pete Hegseth. I didn't even take a picture of this one, so you're just going to listen to it. I'll give you the photo for the next one. But this is how you protest, man. This is it. Use that freedom of speech, right? Right? You guys love that freedom of speech, right? You made comedy legal, right? Hold on, before I play this clip, I want to make sure nobody's needing a safe space.
Legalize comedy.
Okay. Legalize comedy. No safe spaces, no tears. Now let's go to the protester talking to Pete Hegseth, part of the fascist regime.
Hey, you treasonous traitor! Hey, you murderer! You're gonna learn how to do a pull-up in prison! You're gonna learn how to do a pull-up in prison, you traitorous dog! You cowardly treasonous murderer! Shame on you, you traitor!
Did you hear him? I think he's yelled into a bullhorn, but he said, you're gonna learn how to do a pull-up in prison. That's good. Oh, that's good. That's good. All right. Let's hold on. Let me play. Actually, hold on. No, I didn't mean to show you this one yet, because I got a whole thing. So let's get into this. Oil tanker. All right, let's hit a little tariff talk, because everyone's like, gas is cheap. Oh yeah, you eating gas, buddy? Fucking times that tough? You're like, I need a gallon of gas. Who gives a shit, man? Healthcare is about to quadruple. Trump tariffs have nearly cost us $1,200. Don't you find that's funny? $1,200. What did he say? $1,200 Trump tariff rebates? Was it $2,000 check? Did anybody get their $5,000 Doge dividend check yet? Anybody? Isn't it funny? Couldn't we have just not done the tariffs instead of you pretending like you're going to send everybody money? But here's the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, who was appointed by Trump. And then Trump said, I was surprised when he was appointed, like the dementia patient he is, talking about inflation being bad for us, making us pay more.
Since our meeting in October, total PCE prices rose 2.8% over the 12 months ending in
Did he say PCP? Just kidding.
September. And excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices also rose 2.8%. These readings are higher than earlier in the year as inflation for goods has picked up, reflecting the effects of tariffs.
Inflation for goods has picked up, reflecting the effects of tariffs. Inflation went up because he implemented tariffs. Just your daily reminder that, you know, it didn't have to be this bad. You just elected a moron. Some of us didn't. Some of us didn't. Some of us didn't. All right, now let's get to my man. This dude is what I tried to echo in one of many ways here by putting on full display how heinous ICE is. By the way, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Welcome. Glad you're here. How's life going? Hopefully you work one job. Hopefully you are pushing to have a single earner economy again. Here in America, if you ever watch The Simpsons or shows from like the 70s, 80s, 90s, usually the parent went to work. You know the things that Tim Pool and Ben Shapiro want, Steven Crowber, and all these right-wing guys want a guy to work and a woman to stay at home, which I don't give a shit. Let the woman work, guys stay at home. Let them both work. Let people do what the fuck they want to do. The bigger point is the right-wing grift is about the man should work and the women trad wifing. You know, that whole thing fucking popped up. Because, you know, it just used to be a thing when we had a middle class. Well, the only way that works, and this is what I want people to point out to Benny Shapiro and Tim Pool and Clandis Owens, is that the way that works is you have a single earner economy. People are paid enough to survive. People are paid enough to buy a home. And fuck college. If you want to go, it should be free. Paid for by billionaires' taxes, just like we did here in Massachusetts. But it's funny how they'll push for that narrative, but not for workers to earn more. That's how you know it's a grift. But here's this guy talking about ICE. And he makes a good point, and I've tried to echo this sentiment with everything I have.
Game, but I'm next, right? I got no skin in the game, but I'm next, right? How do you mean? Spell that out for folks.
And this is from Status Coup News. I know it's on TikTok too, but Status Coup, amazing YouTube channel. Check them out.
Literally, I'm not an immigrant. My family, none of that shit. That's not why I'm out here. I'm clear that this shit can happen to me. I will be next if I allow it to happen to other people. That's what brings me out here, man. Plus, I love everybody, man. Even these clowns, all these guys that claim to be good, looking out for us. Soon as someone writes on a piece of paper, tell them to treat us shitty, they jump on board. These are not our fucking friends, man. They've been tricked and fooled.
And he's talking about these ICE tards.
We've heard from a lot of state leaders.
Anyways, we're gonna get to the next point, so you heard him, right? Good dude. And I know there's people who are like, no, ICE isn't arresting any citizens. No, they're not. You know, they just keep their head in the ground. They're like an ostrich. They're like, yeah, we're not gonna double check anything. Don't double check your work. They live by the motto, don't even measure, just cut. You know that old saying, measure twice, cut once? They live by the saying, fuck a measure, just cut. And here is, I don't know, some fucking meeting with Kristi Noem. Was she holding her baby after? I want to see if she's wearing the same clothes. If she went to this meeting, is she wearing the same clothes when she was holding her baby? Might be a different outfit. Hold on. Oh, no. So she's coming from this meeting holding a baby. Way to bring a baby to this meeting. Can we see the baby in the background? Where's the baby? Your baby should not be at this, bitch. Get a sitter. We seen you taking $200 million to make those propaganda ads and robbing us of our tax money so you can make this state-run propaganda like it's North Korea. Hire a babysitter. Don't bring your baby to shit like this. But this is Kristi Noem getting checked.
Veterans, have you deported?
He says, how many veterans?
United States military veterans, have you deported?
Sir, we have not deported U.S. citizens or military veterans.
I don't believe you served in the military. I haven't either, but I think you and I can agree that as Americans, we owe everything to those who have served our country in uniform, particularly those who have served in combat. Do you agree with that?
Sir, I believe that people that are in this United States that are citizens have legal status here.
Madam Secretary, we are joined on Zoom by a gentleman named Sejun Park. He is a United States Army combat veteran who was shot twice while serving our country in Panama in 1989. Like many veterans, he struggled with PTSD and substance abuse after his service. He was arrested in the 1990s for some minor drug offenses, nothing serious. He never hurt anyone besides himself, and he's been clean and sober for 14 years. He is a combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient. He has sacrificed more for this country than most people ever have. Earlier this year, you deported him to Korea, a country he hasn't lived in since he was 7 years old. Will you join me in thanking Mr. Park for his service to our country?
Sir, I'm grateful for every single person that has served our country and follows our
And
laws.
can you please tell
And knows
Mr.
that our
Park
laws
why
are
you
important
deported
and
him?
every one of them needs to be enforced.
But you understand that many veterans struggle with PTSD, many United States.
They don't give a shit and they are coming for you next. And by the way, if you're still supporting ICE after that, if you're like, oh, he should not have had PTSD and had a drug offense, you know, because I've heard those people. Most likely Nigerian princes being paid to sow division in America, you know, Russian advocates. The people who help fund Tim Pool's show, you see a lot of them in the comments nowadays. It's a large psyop against the American people to believe that the erosion of due process and our rights that the founding fathers saw us having, envisioned us to have against the king and tyranny, you know, those rights being eradicated, they're the ones that are, you know, trying to be like, oh, no, it should be like this. It should be. We should have a fucking, the king's squire being able to roam the streets. So for those of you who are still defending ICE, let me play this news clip for you. You ready?
Arrest in Hamilton County and being held without bond after he was accused of putting a female in a chokehold. 47-year-old Samuel Saxon was arrested over the weekend on charges of felonious assault, strangulation, and domestic violence. Court records show the incident happened at a residence on Eden Avenue near UC. Once they arrived, Cincinnati police say that they saw some bruising around the victim's neck. Saxon, arrested early in the morning on Saturday and booked into the Hamilton County Jail. There he is right now. He was held all weekend on a no bond order from the prosecutor's office. He did appear in court today for a hearing, and he remains in custody right now due to...
Wonder what they think of people who work for ICE in jail. I wonder. Just wonder. I don't know. But this is ICE, not the best. They're not bringing the best, the brightest. They're not. Did you see this story? I was going to talk about this the other day. We're in a recession, folks. I know the government canceled the data, the jobs, the inflation reports, the, you know, every kind of report, which is usually when you're doing a great job, you know, when we've all been to school at some point. I know Tim Pool dropped out of what, 5th grade or something, when it, you know, that tough hump going into middle school. Timmy Pool, the guy who got duped, once you know that he dropped out that early, you understand, oh yeah, he got tricked by Russia into taking $500,000 a month from them, to just do his normal show. Nothing weird to see here. Wonder why Russia would pay that much for him to be that divisive, want a civil war. Wonder why Russia would want somebody saying civil war in America. Wonder why Russia would pay him that much. Anyways, Tim admittedly said, they tricked me. It's not like we have the internet to figure stuff out. I don't know, this is a lot of money. What am I gonna do with all that money? Figure out who is paying me? But for the rest of us who have been to school, you know when you get a good grade, you know when you've worked really hard and you got an A on something and you came home and hid it, threw it away and said, I want no evidence of this. And then your parents go, hey, how about that report? Let me see the report. And you go, just trust me, bro, it was an A. That's how all legit stuff goes, right? It's just like the government right now. They're like, just trust us, bro. Everything's awesome. The jobs are awesome. Inflation is the awesomest. everything's the awesomest. You don't need reports. Reading is boring. That's why we got rid of the Department of Education, right, guys? Boo. Turns out, no, we're probably in a recession, and leave it to fucking like NPR, I think it was. I forget. They're like, maybe the professional Santas can tell us. Hilarious story if you detach from reality. If you're like, oh, our country's fucked and we have no numbers to fucking collect or, go about because the regime is too busy, I don't know, eroding our rights. So leave it to the journalists to find out if the mall Santas can tell us if we're in a recession. This is going to be one for the history books. For those of us who make it another 50 years when we look back and our grandkids and everybody asks us what that time was like, we go, well, the mall Santas were the first warning sign that we were in a dire recession. People aren't going to believe it. They're going to be like, how did this shit happen? We're going to be like, listen, there was a section of the country, middle of the country. They thought education was stupid and they just wanted to, I don't know, hate people. Is this it? Hold on.
Cereal for dinner, if you think about the cost of cereal for a family versus...
Oh, that was a CEO saying, if you can't afford dinner, buy his cereal. Another great sign of the times. Where was the love for... Oh my God. I didn't make it an audio clip. I'm sorry. But here, I'll give you this one.
It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got a perfect mark.
This is going to be in history. I took a dementia test and I aced it. Perfect mark. No proof on that one either, But it's going to be funny times. We're just going to have to say, there were these soy boy farmers that thought Donald Trump actually loved them. Elon Musk meddling in the EU, and this is a statement this channel fully supports. Time to abolish billionaires and redistribute everything over $999 billion to initiatives that help people and communities they exploit and repair the damage they've done. Billionaires have bought too much influence, and they are a threat to the planet. Here in Massachusetts, we put a 4% tax on anything over $1 million. You can get a free bachelor's degree. No kid has to pay for lunch or breakfast at school. And we've raised over $5.7 billion when they estimated $3 billion. And that's just a 4% tax. So it works. Oh, and the millionaires didn't leave. Our millionaire population grew by 39%. I know the news isn't telling you that often, but it's important to know. And this is the influence that the billionaires have bought. That's not good. This is Washington Post, owned by Amazon's Jeff Bezos. Actually, today's food prices are a bargain. Why you may not want lower prices as much as you do think. Yeah, I totally don't want to buy organic food at a rate that doesn't cost me my whole paycheck. You're right, Jeff. Could you tell me what the price of egg is, Jeff? Do you even know? What could it cost, Michael? $50? Great show for those who know. This newspaper is owned by a guy whose net worth is $250 billion and whose conglomerate owns a grocery chain that profits off of high prices. Do you think this is trustable news? I know my answer. I'm not going to share it with you. But do you think a guy who profits off of high prices, owning the newspaper, telling you that today's prices, these high prices are actually a bargain, and you may not want lower prices of food. Do you think that's a free press? Do you think that influence is good? Again, I'm planting seeds. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm posing questions. Do you think when people are struggling and can't afford dinner, and the CEO of Kellogg's or whatever fucking cereal, they're all owned probably by two different corporations, when the CEO goes on the news and says this,
cereal for dinner, if you think about the cost of cereal for a family versus what they might otherwise do, that's going to be much more affordable.
That was on the news in America. If you're outside of America, this is real life for us. Oh, are you struggling? Well, just think about what it costs to buy cereal for dinner. And then if the milk's too expensive, just dry cereal. The American dream, cereal for dinner. And not in that fun 1980s way where we're going to have breakfast for dinner, Ma, like in, oh, we can't afford other food way. Anybody who supports Trump, any maggot, anyone who supports these Republicans, you're enabling this. Remember, politicians are public servants. They work for us. Well, they don't. In theory, they're supposed to work for us. Our taxpayer money pays them. Realistically, it's the billionaires that lobby them. Citizens United, end it now. But in theory, they were supposed to be, we would vote for them, vouch for them to represent us. That's why they're called representatives. I feel like we really got to pound this point because people forget that the president is the highest office in the land of public service. He works for us. So when he called you stupid, he said smart people don't like me. Personally, if I voted for him, I said, excuse me, sir, don't you fucking talk to your boss like that. You want to get fired? Impeach? Huh? But these spineless fucking lack of integrity, no moral character Republicans, maggots, and some Democrats too. Don't get me wrong, if we voted all blue, they're not giving us universal health care. Well, that's why I try to encourage the people to think. Think. Do you like America that tells you can't afford dinner? Just buy our cereal. How cheap is cereal? Raise the cereal prices. They're not able to afford anything. I just told them to buy cereal. Raise the prices. You don't think that was going on in that next meeting? You don't think he just texted people, dude, I just went on the news, told everyone to buy cereal, raise the fucking prices. Do you trust the guy who not only owns the grocery store you shop at, but also owns the paper telling you this is actually a bargain? You are being manipulated. This is a fucking psyop. And we don't have to take it. They are the 1%. Now, I know we've defunded education, but that number is less than 99. There's more of us. We can reject this, resist. Revolution, as the founders of the French Revolution once said, probably. It's a loose quote. Anyways. By the way, we're getting into the pirating business. Have you seen this? Turns out Donald Trump making fun of Somalia, but he's probably, following in their footsteps, doing Somali pirate shit. We're seizing oil tankers. Man, the economy's rough when even your country's like, yo, shit, that's an oil truck. Pull that shit over. We need that oil, man. Times are tough. We got to get them gas prices down for people so people can cheer like they eat gas for dinner. Who gives a fuck? I don't care if gas went down 15 cents. If your healthcare shot up by $1,200 fucking dollars, and they're saying that everything has cost us an extra fucking $1,200, who gives a shit? 15 cents at the pump. Stop being a moron. What do you think they're doing this for? So MAGA can run around. Gas is cheap, like little lemmings. My Christ, I don't give a fuck about gas prices. I care about healthcare, universal basic income, 3-day work week. Getting everybody over 55 out of politics. You hit 55, you retire, okay? The age of 40 should be the new retirement age for every American. And we could just afford it with a billionaire's tax. You know what I mean? If we tax everybody over 999 million, you keep 999 million, okay? And let me just say this to those fucking bootlickers. If these people can't survive on $999 million, they're living outside of their means, okay? I'm sick of people saying to the people working for 30 grand a year, oh, maybe you should budget. How do you fucking budget when you can't afford nothing, okay? I'm sick of people saying, oh, farmers get a bailout. That bailout ain't going to the farmers. That's going to their debts. The farmers, we've talked about this. I've watched the videos. I've seen the farmers say it. On both sides, the inputs and outputs, the corporations have squeezed the farmers. So they said, they know if we make $500 an acre, they charge us $495. That bailout is going right to the corporations that already have enough wealth. Watch their fucking stocks shoot up once this bailout happens. So I'm even defending these maggot farmers, these deep red idiots that fucking helped to get us here. I'm defending them because I'm sick of this shit. We need, if we're going to have a minimum wage, a maximum wage. Because if you can't survive on $999 million, you're fucking doing it wrong. I'll show you. Lend me your ears and your millions. And that's just the truth. But somehow here in America, they like to tell people who are working on 30 grand a year. Poverty level, we've already went over this. I shared the story, it's in the description. Poverty level should be 140,000, and in America it's still 30 grand. That's severe poverty. But somehow, Corporations, trillion-dollar corporations have convinced Americans to look at the poorest people and go, yo, you should just budget better. When even, everyone's like, oh yeah, shit's way more expensive. Wages have not kept up with any of this stuff. Housing, healthcare, all that stuff. And that's become normalized. But looking at trillion-dollar companies, a man going to be worth $1 trillion, looking at that illegal South African immigrant, Elon Musk, going to be a trillionaire off our subsidized money, our taxpayer money floating all his companies. And somehow Americans have been normalized to not look at them and go, you can't live off 999 million. We know what happens in the billion mark, okay? Epstein Island, nothing good. They end up buying all the newspapers, all the media, and then trying to convince you of this shit. And it's working. Hey, what's up, Katie Liz? 10 cents, J666, thank you. 10 cents a day to support the right American. You changed it, I love it. And I love you, thank you. Not I, bro. The poverty level, link in the description, read the Substack. It was a guy who analyzes markets, and he broke down the numbers, because if you don't know about the poverty level, it's some arbitrary number from the 1950s where a woman gauged it off the cost of food. And that's how we have that poverty line right now. That's really what it is. It's not kept up to date or anything. You think this fucking regime wants to do numbers or keep up with any kind of data? No. So that 31,000 that the poverty level is at is not real. And a guy who broke it down, link in the description, you read it yourself. I did a whole live stream on it a couple weeks ago. You can watch that too. Broke down the actual math by that own standard, by the standard they used in the 50s, which they've not adjusted. And he said it should be between 30 and 60, 130 and 160,000. He said right around 140,000 is the actual poverty level. And that only makes sense, but, that's why the Wall Street Journal came up with or the New York Times came up with the term, a new American term, rich session, like a recession, but for rich people. But it's okay. I don't expect, bless your heart. I hope you get the help you need, because Americans are just propagandized to hate the poorest, most vulnerable, and to worship those with so much money they don't know what to do with it. They burn it, they fucking steal it from the hard workers, they exploit people, and they're just like in awe because of the number. Just because of how much it is. They don't care how they got it, just that they have it. And it's fucking dumb, and even these kind of comedy YouTubers, what is it? Not Danny Gonzalez, his buddy. He said, he made a video I started watching, Greed is Ruining America. I was like, yo, even these dudes, the comedy dudes, like the tame, G-rated YouTube comics that play it safe for the monetization, even they're like, hey man, greed is really doing us in. I'm like, the tides are turning, man. Some people are starting to wake up. But the propaganda is hard and strong. This is a quadrillion, billion, zillion dollar propaganda machine that you are the subject of since birth, to convince you that, no, they need all this money. No, it's the people who are struggling to buy the food. That's who you should say should budget. Yeah, those people should budget, right? Not us. And I'm here to tell you that's fucking crazy and lunacy. If you can't survive on 999 million, then I don't know, you're doing life wrong. You're doing it wrong. All wrong. Especially those ones who are Christian, because, Jesus didn't have any money. That Jesus guy wasn't fucking making it rain for people. He was feeding them and taking care of them, not checking if they worked, not checking if they had insurance. He was just loving everybody, hanging out with the sinners, embracing everybody, all lifestyles. He didn't give a fuck. He just wanted to live and teach an example. Looking at you, Joel Osteen, you asshole. KT Liz, good to see you. Good to see you. Sorry, I wasn't reading the comments. Oh, here it goes, dissing Christians. I'm not. I'm dissing the fake Christians. I believe in Christ. Christ is my Lord and Savior. I try to live like he does. I'm just pointing out that if you read the fucking Bible, read the red letters. These red hats need to read the red letters. Because Jesus, when he was feeding everybody with the loaves of bread and fish, he didn't say, hey, check everybody before they get this SNAP, this Jesus benefit. Make sure everybody worked a 40-hour work week. When he was healing the lame and the blind and all those people, they were bringing it to him, and the lame guy fell through the roof. He wasn't going, all right, let me check your insurance card. All right, you got a 10 shekel copay. That shit didn't happen, okay? So don't put an asterisk there and pretend like, oh, we got to do this. Jesus didn't do that. So I diss the fake fucking Christians like Joel Osteen and Kanye West. And I can't believe people think Donald Trump is a Christian. He's never been a Christian. He's not. He's using that fucking Bible Belt base to vote for him so he can fucking become the fascist dictator he's always wanted to be, you know? Elon has 0 college degrees. Fact. And he is an illegal immigrant. Fact. They came here for college, never graduated, and stayed and started a business. Somebody let ICE know. It's the only person I support ICE kicking in his door and maybe his nuts. This is Elon's brother. By the way, Elon and Kimball, both in the Epstein files. Remember when we saw the email saying, hey, is Elon still coming to the island December 4th? Just passed the December 4th anniversary of Elon being in the Epstein files. Remember when he tweeted, hey, by the way, Trump's in the Epstein files. You and your brother are too. You all are. See what I mean? About everything over $999 million, they just become child predators. So, I don't know. Prove me wrong, release the files. I don't know. And MAGA, you guys seem to want to keep our communities and the kids safe, so you guys should be for taxing everything over $1 billion. We redistribute it all. Make our communities safer and better. And if they can't live on 999 million, tell me why they can't live on 999 million. You know? But here is Kimball, Elon's brother, both of them in the Epstein files, don't forget, saying that they were illegal immigrants, and he said it on stage. It's recorded. It's on YouTube.
They realized that we were illegal immigrants.
Oh, there it is. Illegal immigrants. Weird how MAGA doesn't give a shit about those. I wonder why, skin color. All right, so we're doing pirate shit. Oh, by the way, did you see this? Denmark's military intelligence service has, for the first time, classified the U.S. as a security risk. Link down below if you want to read the whole thing. I've been going for a while, but this is crazy. This is, you know, I think they don't say it outright in this, but I think, let's see, what does this say? Russian assets. I don't know, but, you know, Russian assets, you see that story up there? So, Trump tariffs, we went over that. Look at this. In November, a total of $24 billion was paid by consumers in tariff costs. Oh, look, it's a tax on us. Look at that. And then we're projected to pay another $2,100 per year as a result of the tariffs. Have you even said thank you? And the funniest part is like, they'll be like, you know, MAGA is totally against handouts. But if Donald Trump is like, I'm giving $2,100 back to people, they'd be like, oh, look at that, Donnie dollars. Oh my God, dementia dollars. It's so fun. They're just hypocrites. They're hypocritical pieces of shit because they want to call everything that they, you know, can't agree with because Donald says so, lazy entitled handout. But if Donnie says, I'm giving you dementia dollars, $2,100 from the tariffs, they'd be like, yeah, we're getting Donnie dementia dollars. You fucking hypocritical pieces of shit. Oh, God. Just the worst kind of people. The worst kind of people. Make sure you hit subscribe. Have you hit subscribe? We're going to take a moment right now, a moment of silence in prayer. Please, Lord, let them hit subscribe. In your name, Jesus, Bartholomew, Lucas, Perry, Christ. Most of you didn't know that was his name. I've read the Urantia, so suck it. Amen. Thank you, Crush. And Crush, can you wrap us up in that? All right, guys. Make sure you hit subscribe, though, okay? And hit the notification bell. Amen. Thank you, Jim Z. Amen. Strangecaster. Angel. Oh, look at that. Everybody's wrapping it up with the amen. Look at that. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. You know, I say here, Jesus didn't say start a crusade or make Jesus the national religion. You know, he didn't. He didn't. You can check the Bible. I read it every day. He didn't say that. But he did say, Jesus did say, you know, you can live like I do. Be like me. Do what I do, and people will see that, and they'll know you're mine. Crazy, huh? Crazy. Crazy how Jesus wasn't out there trying to topple the Roman Empire to install himself. Although the Romans did that, and now we have Catholicism. Because that's all a Catholic is. It's just the Roman Empire co-opting Jesus' story. You know? Because why the fuck would there be a pope? I still don't get this. You don't need a pope. He's not closest to God. Jesus was like, I'm in you. I'll give you the Holy Spirit. I'm going to go up there, send down the Holy Spirit. You don't need any interceding people. You need nothing. And if you do, and somebody's trying to tell you that, especially if you're trying to pass a collection plate that is untaxed because Jesus paid his taxes, he said, give to God what is God's and give to Caesar what is Caesar's, then they might be a fucking grifter. Think about it. By the way, I love this. Thank you to my brother for sending me this today. This was awesome. You're seeking validation from a world that crucified a perfect man. If you believe that he lived a sinless life, allowed himself up on that cross to die for your sins, then don't seek validation from this world. You know, I don't know why Donald Trump always is. He's always saying, the news treats me bad. I need a safe space. They report 99% bad about me. Shut up, man. Shut the fuck up. Start doing some good. Start caring for the people. Caring for your communities. It still befuddles me. It befuddles me. People with all the money, all the power, you know? They could tomorrow be like, homeless vets, not on my watch. 1 in 5 kids in America are food insecure, not while I'm living. They could fucking fix these problems in a heartbeat. But most of them are balding and have daddy issues. So they get their gender-affirming hair plants. And they fucking try to fill the hole in their heart with oppressive ways. Tyranny, it's known. Christians don't cuss. Oh, then I'm guessing you're talking about Donald Trump.
He doesn't want to fuck around with the United States. Thank you, everybody.
You're right. I don't think Donald Trump is Christian.
Quiet, quiet.
So quiet, piggy. Quiet, piggy. You hear me? Quiet, piggy. Yo, it's so funny, man. Yeah, shut them the fuck down, KT. Do it. Do it. I love these people that are like MAGA supporters, you know, starving people, taking their health care. 2 of the tenets of Jesus's life, feeding and healing. They are just so misled. But, you know, Jesus does say, there will be some who come to me, and I will say, I do not know you. Get back from me, Satan. Oh, man, it's going to be a sad day for them. Sad day for them when you find out you're going to burn in hell. Going to be a sad day for you. The gnashing of teeth. Jesus made it real simple. Love everybody. He said, what are the greatest 2 commandments? Love your God and love your neighbor unselfishly. If you support ICE right now, you know, these abusers who go out and kidnap people, it's not very Christian. I like to be the one to break that to you. But, oh man, you don't come in here. Here, I'm going to give you a lesson, Tennessee. how we do. You don't come into my house telling me what to do, okay? Go do your own live stream. Get the fuck out of here. Jesus also never spoke against the government. You understand, Jesus was public enemy number 1 against the Roman government. Holy shit, man. That's funny. That's funny. Ooh, somebody had an NDE. There's a couple good YouTube channels with NDEs. I had a near-death experience. It doesn't matter your religion. It matters your heart. Seabreeze, spelt in a cool way. I always appreciate that. You're right. Mods working hard. Yeah, God bless the mods. God bless them. And if they don't believe in God, may Almighty Nature, Mother Nature, may the Great Spirit bless you, or whatever you believe. E Burns 91. Thank you for the $5 pound. Yo, the pound side. You in the UK? Many blessings upon you. Thank you for that. I want to go. That's the other thing, man. This fucking fascist regime ruined everything. We just talked about the tourism coming from Europe into America has plummeted under this regime, which I don't blame you. You know, if they're checking your social media and what memes you have on your phone, you might get detained because you made fun of a president that's supposed to be in the land of the free, where you're supposed to be able to dissent against the fucking government. That was the whole reason we went away from a king and a monarchy. I don't blame you guys for not coming here. I just hate that they've made this country and these people, their worshipers, their cult fucking followers, think that everyone should just work and suffer while like 4 guys do rug pull shitcoin memes all day long, and everybody else should just suffer. It's like, bro, I liked going to Europe. I fucking love going to the UK. I want to go to Ireland. I want to travel. Life is not, listen, if you're going to put employee of the month on your gravestone, then you can talk. For everybody else that understands that life is about meeting people, traveling, having good meals with people, spending time with family, we should be fighting for a better tomorrow. You know? None of this corporate bootlicking shit. Working hard or hardly working? Love a crush. Wales. Oh, yeah, see, I want to go. We want to come so we can make chance against the president. Scotland, represent Scotland. There we go. Oh my God. You don't fuck with the Scottish. I got to meet one dude from Scotland in Florida, and his accent was so thick, it was like he was speaking a different language. Oh my God. And by the way, big shout out to all my, Jim Z. Love from the UK. You're more than welcome here anytime. Appreciate you. Thank you for the $9.99 pound. Hey, listen, or what do you guys call it? What's the pounds? And I watch, so we love Dairy Girls. I love People Just Do Nothing. This Country, Our Country, what is it? I love the BBC 3 fucking comedy, which we can't get here. And I wanted the iPlayer so bad. There's nothing better than fucking the European comedies. Nothing better. There was a Danish comedy show about this teacher that I fucking loved. And I watched it in Danish. I was trying to learn the language. But like and subscribe. Thank you, Sizzle Moonsong. But my God, you guys got the funniest stuff. I just think I appreciate you, Jim Z. Thank you for that. And by the way, because we got a few people from across the pond, if you guys have not checked out Gary's Economics, he's in the UK. He was a trader. He came to YouTube to say he's the reason I say tax wealth, not work. That's his phrase. I always link him in the description. One of Gary's Economics videos is linked in my description now. He's fighting for a better tomorrow and a better economic system that benefits the working class to establish a middle class again. If you have not checked out Gary's Economics, please do. Please do. He's an important mind in this reshaping of the world. So not one guy has $1 trillion and everybody else can't afford healthcare. Do you hear that? That's reality right now in America. Elon Musk, illegal South African racist immigrant, going to be a trillionaire. Everybody else, I just played the audio for you. got denied to be able to afford their health care. They're public servants, the people who work for them, denied 2 different plans so they could afford to not die. We got to redo this shit, folks. Thank you guys for the super chat. It means the world to me. Gary's Economics, check it out. He's a YouTuber. He's amazing. I linked him in the description so I can promote it, so I can tell people about it. So please, Van Hughes, very interesting dude. He's got a lot of stuff and he's pushing forward. So yes, Gary's Economics. If you've never seen it, link in the description. Just put it into YouTube. Start at the beginning. Watch his videos. He breaks it down simply and he has plans. He has action. We can take action. All right, guys. I got to go for tonight, but thank you guys all for stopping by. I appreciate everybody. The super chats, thank you so much. And also, everybody who hit subscribe, join the family, join the coalition, join the community. We can make this shit better. We can. You're going to find out, like the great philosopher once said in the 90s, a man by the name of Van Wilder, stage name, don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out alive. Let's make this shit enjoyable, okay? Peace. Be love. Be kind to one another. Love one another. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mods, Crush, KT, J666. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you a lot. Much love. Respect. Peace.